Right, good morning everyone. I'm starting a new set of videos at the moment on the Combat Patrol magazines. I was actually really kind of coin tossing basically about whether or not I should start this, but I enjoy putting together models too much to not do it, and even if one person watches this video, and finds what I say worth it, then, don't mind doing it. So what I've got is I've got my Combat Patrol magazine. So this one here, and this is number 1. Now, as with a lot of these kind of subscriptions, in the first issue you get sort of 2 character models. What I find quite intriguing about this, I used to collect Tyranids. I've never really collected Primaris. The Tyranid character, I don't know if it's that the Space Marines have upscaled so much in the last few years, but the Tyranid seems small to me. But I'll get onto that in a bit. But basically, what we have here is we have our Space Marine Captain and Winged Tyranid Prime. Now, interestingly, they always used to put the word Primaris constantly at one point, Games Workshop, next to any Space Marines. But I think because the whole range is now Primaris, then they don't really feel the need to qualify that they're the larger ones compared to the old Firstborns. As someone who collects Horus Heresy, I'm pleased that they've made a clear distinction between the 40k Space Marines and the Heresy Space Marines. But anyway, that's just something that I like. I like the fact that the 2 games are separating out. Okay, so moving on from there though, let's actually see the information that we're getting in this. So one thing is, because I've done the Stormbringer, I kind of have expectations about the layout of this, so I'm hoping it will be different. So, I mean, it's all going to be the same in the end. It's going to be pulled apart and put to binders, but let's have a good look at what's going on here. So we actually start out with how to build the things. So that's our Captain in Terminator armor. I am so pleased he's in Terminator armor. I just love Terminators, and they're such a pleasure to actually paint up. I'm having a quick look. He's a push fit model. I used to hate the push fit models. I find personally some of them separate badly, but if you know what you're doing, you can fix that up anyway. Okay, welcome to the 41st millennium. Again, that's very I love lore. Now, I have been collecting Games Workshop stuff since I think I got my first kit when I was like 10 years old, when my dad and I kind of just wandered into a Games Workshop. My brother was there with my sisters, and me and my brother just fell in love with it straight away, that place. So I know a lot about it, but by the same logic, I've only really read what's it called now? Is it Avenging Sun and The Lion, the Son of the Forest, of what you might call the new wave of 40k, where the Primaris were created. So I'm actually a bit behind on my 40k lore. So I think this will be nice for me, actually. So anyway, yeah, we get a nice little kind of introduction. For those of you who aren't aware, with Combat Patrol, you are getting literally what it says on the tin. You're getting a set of combat patrols from multiple factions, rather than with the previous Conquest, I think it was called, where it was all Necrons and all Imperium. This is like a kind of mix of all different factions, which I kind of like because it gives me more variety in what I'm putting together. Anyway, so yeah, you've got some quite cool information about the different factions, but overall it's laid out in a very, very similar way to Stormbringer in that regard. Of course, your core concepts, your core battle you know, how to run a battle. And then, of course, we can see what we're getting. Now, this is a huge range of models, as you can see, across multiple factions. For myself, my son likes Tyranids, so there's the Tyranids and the Gene Stealer cults are going to really be something that he goes for. Now, I want the Imperial Guard models actually for my Horus Heresy army, but the good thing is they kind of can be used across both. Orcs, I love orcs, I always want more orcs. And that just kind of leads things like the Chaos. Now, I used to have a Chaos army, but I did not really have space for it, so there's a good chance that once I've built all my Chaos, they're probably going to go on sale. I'm really tempted to actually paint them up first, but the thing is, you get things like the proper World Eaters with this, and I do love the World Eaters, so you know, I don't know, we'll see. It's all about space, really. I can't keep everything, unfortunately. The Eldar are probably going to be given to one of my nephews who's a big Eldar collector. So, you know, you've got those kind of, you've got a nice healthy mix of models, basically, which I'm pleased about. Of course, we get ourselves a poster. Just kind of curious how, you know, what this poster is. Again, we can see on the back of it a really big detailed breakdown of what we're getting. And there's our huge poster. Now, I think I'm going to give that to my niece. So, my niece has just got into Warhammer. She started off with the starter kit. So I think that's going to kind of, you know, having something like that to pin up in her room is going to actually be exciting for her. So I think this is going to her in the end. Right, and if you want to know what you're getting in the premium subscriptions, you've got the Brutalis Dreadnought. I want to see, I'm going to scale that against the Contemptor Dreadnought I have. Hive Tyrant, now I know that's a big one because I've had one of them in the past. The new Demon Prince model, again, I love stuff like that. Got the Howling Banshees, again, that's the kind of thing I'll probably give to one of my nephews. Orcs. Killer Cans, love them. And the Brocky Thunderkin, again, you know, again, I think I'll keep that. I like them. A Ruggledon Battle Tank, I already have one of those, so it'll be nice to have a second one. And some Tyranids for the Gene Stealer cults over here. Again, kind of like the idea of them because I do kind of like Necromunda, and I think they work well with Necromunda as kind of things. I know you've got the Malstrains, you know, available, but that's something else to play around with. Okay, we also get a battle mat. Now, again, very industrial battle mat, so it looks like the first battles are either going to be on space station, spaceship, or potentially a hive. You know, back of the mat has what you might call generic scorched earth terrain, well, scorched planet anyway. On top of that, of course, we get clickety clack. Yeah. Mathrox, as some people like to call them. And right, so this is our kind of core characters that we're getting. So scale wise, have a look at, you know, we've got our Beastie, Primaris Terminator, Space Marine Terminator. He's, you know, he looks very, very cool, I have to admit. Now, I have a Cataphracti here. I always like, characters are always bigger, but this is a Horus Heresy Terminator, the Cataphracti armour. I think that one is. Now, actually, when I put them next to each other in scale, of course, this captain's got his leg bent slightly, more than this model here, but he doesn't seem to be completely towering over. He's bigger, but he doesn't feel massively so. And definitely that's something that I'm going to compare. I want to see how the Firstborn Heresy era measure up to the 40k era. Okay. And then, of course, on top of that, we have our winged Tyrant. Now, of course, he's quite a long model because he's got his long tail. But obviously, as we know, they kind of hunch at the shoulders, Tyranids. He's got wings, which is quite cool as well, so it gives a bit of a difference, you know. On top of that, I think this isn't like the massive Tyranid leaders like the Hive Tyrant. This is more like a Tyranid warrior that's being used as a kind of, you know, a character. So it's not supposed to be completely massive, but it does feel to me that I'd like to actually get a normal Tyranid warrior and put it next to it and see scale how close they are. Okay, so that is our Combat Patrol issue 1. We definitely have here, quite a cool setup to get going. So pretty soon I'll be heading on to issue 2. I don't know when my issue 3, 4, 5 and 6 are going to get here, but hopefully they'll come soon enough. So that's a bit of a longer video, but it is an introduction to Combat Patrol. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next issue.